16, 2010 has now been called to order. We will have the invocation by Mr. Landry, which will follow with the pledge. Please stand.
Ms. Griffin.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we are so thankful that you have allowed for us to be here tonight to take care of business for these your people. We ask that you would be with us and that everything we say and do here will be pleasing in your sight. Furthermore, we ask that your loving arms of protection will never leave us and that we will forever find grace in your eyes. These are the things that your Son, Jesus the Christ, said that we could do. Come before your throne of grace where we may obtain mercy. In the name of Jesus we pray, amen.
Amen. Amen. Raise the flag and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Yes, sir. Mr. Ingerpont?
Here.
Mr. Brame?
Here.
Mr. Collins?
Here.
Mr. Farnham?
Here.
Mrs. Griffin?
Present.
Mr. Hassan?
Here.
Mr. Landry?
Here.
Dr. Mackey?
Present.
Mr. McMillan?
Here.
Mr. Scott?
Here.
Mr. Spell?
Here.
Mr. Stelly? Mr. Sias?
Present.
Mrs. Trimmy?
Here.
And President Guidry.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We want to welcome everyone being here tonight, and we have a special treat from the Washington Marion Magnet School. The choir is going to come before us and give us a few Christmas carols, and we just want to say that we're very excited on having them here tonight. And I would ask if there's anyone in the audience that has a cell phone or a pager, I would ask that you would please put that device to silence, please, so that we can conduct our meeting in an orderly and professional fashion. And if there's anyone that want to speak on any of the items that's on the agenda tonight, I would ask that you fill out one of the blue cards. Please bring that card to Ms. Jessica here up in the front, and she'll make sure that my Vice President and myself will receive that card so that we can have you on the agenda for tonight. And I want to apologize. I'm a little bit under the weather tonight, so if you guys for some reason see me coughing, just please excuse me because sometimes I start and I can't stop. But I wanted to say that before we get started here tonight. So, again, thank you all for being here, and we'll proceed. Item number 5, hold a public hearing at 5:30 p.m. as a result of notice of intention published in accordance with the law for the purpose of hearing comments, suggestions, or protests concerning the proposed altering of the boundaries of Waterwork District number 14 of Ward 5. And consideration of adopting an ordinance officially altering the boundaries of said district. At this time, I would ask, is there anyone here in the audience that would like to speak on this item? Is there anyone here in the audience that would like to speak on this item? This time, the chair would entertain a motion.
I'd like to make that motion, please.
I have a motion by Ms. Trimmy and a second by Dr. Mackey. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 5 passes. Number 6, Christmas choral presentation by the Washington Marion Magnet High School Chorus, directed by Ms. Gladys McKnight. This time I'd call on Ms. Griffin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Calvin Collins and myself invited Ms. McKnight and her choir, and we're so pleased that they're here now. And to my colleagues, I'm sure that you will enjoy. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Griffin.
Should we go down, too? Should we go down? Should we step down, too?
To us or against us? A few of those. I get them all the time. Hey, now y'all sing pretty. Remember my song?
If y'all sing as pretty as y'all look, it's gonna be very. Sit down in the audience and pay attention and listen.
evening. We're the Washington Marion Magnet High School Chorale. My name is Gladys McKnight. Our principal is Mr. Robert Peake. We will be singing two selections tonight. The first one, Boom, 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 a Catlin dance carol arranged by Alice Parker and Robert Shaw. And the second selection, Ding Dong Merrily on High, an old French carol arranged by Ed Lejeski.
On December 5 and 20, boom, boom, boom. On December 5 and 20, boom, boom, boom. Our child was born this night, so rosy white. Son of Mary, Virgin, holy, in a stable, mean and lowly, boom, boom, boom. On December 5 and 20, boom, 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 boom. On December 5 and 20, boom, boom. On December's most important day, let us begin. The first church of the year, have those switches, buns and candy, boom, 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 boom. God will sing us days of feasting, boom, 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 boom. God will sing us days of feasting, boom, boom, boom. For time will soon come for young and old, for young and old. We'll be telling the holy story and the singing of His glory, boom, boom, boom. Ding dong merrily on high, the Christmas bells are ringing. Ding dong, heaven everybody, with angels' voices singing. Gloria, sing glory to the highest. Gloria, sing glory to the highest. Brightly shone the moon that night, though the frost was cruel. When a poor man came in sight, gathering winter fuel. Ding dong, merrily on high, the Christmas bells are ringing. Ding dong, heaven and round, with angel voices heaving. Gloria, sing glory to the highest. Gloria, sing glory to the highest.
Again, Ms. McKnight, on behalf of Calcasieu Parish Police Jury, we would like to thank you so much and your choir for giving us such a beautiful presentation. Beautiful voices. Stay outside. I'm going to meet you all.
What kind of vehicle do you have? Hold on.
I was a total mother with a music teacher.
Shame of it.
Just didn't get it.
You're a loser.
I'm a loser. You're absolutely right.
Mine says, from Shannon, says to my favorite mentor, my favorite police juror, and the guy I most look up to.
Didn't have a signature in it. It just had a regular old hallmark.
That's right. All the presidents are going to be. You know, I got a grandbaby now. You let that grandbaby. Same way with my grandbaby. This is favorite story started us.
We're going to go ahead and get started. I know that Ms. Griffin and Mr. Size and Mr. Calvin, they're out in the lobby with the Washington Marion High School band and all, and the choir, and they did a great job, and we just want to thank them for coming in tonight and sharing those two songs with us. We really enjoyed that, and we really thank them for that. Madam Secretary, can you make a note that Mr. Stelly is in?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. We're going to move on to item number 7, presentation of proclamation to Mr. R.H. Bobby Hennigan, Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development, DOTD, District Administrator, proclaiming Friday, February 4th, 2011, as Mr. R.H. Bobby Hennigan Day in Calcasieu Parish in honor and recognition of his dedicated services to Calcasieu Parish and to Southwest Louisiana. This time I call on Mr. McMillan.
Thank you. Mr. Hennigan, if you'd come up here with us. And it's always a great day when you've got a guy that's made it to that point of retirement, and we definitely want to honor Bobby with this day. First off, I'd just like to say a few words about Bobby. Bobby's been working with our NCAL group for a number of years, and when there was a lot of decisions that had to be made, sometimes tough decisions, such as the height of the bridge, Bobby was there doing the right thing for Calcasieu Parish and the safety of Calcasieu Parish, and he's done a lot of great things. So the thing I like about Bobby, it was always a phone call away, and I could get the district manager on the phone to work with the parish on any state and parish roads that we may have. And I know a lot of y'all have great stories about Bobby and the things he's done through his tenure. So with that being said, I definitely wanted to have a chance to honor Bobby in the way of a proclamation and get him here to say a few words about some of his years in Calcasieu Parish. And the proclamation reads as this: whereas Mr. Robert H. Bobby Hennigan began his employment with the Louisiana Department of Transportation, the DOTD, immediately after graduating Louisiana Tech in 1977, whereas in 1984 he was transferred to Lake Charles and was promoted to District Engineer Supervisor, becoming District 7 Engineer Administrator in 2001. And whereas Mr. Hennigan has announced his retirement effective February 4th, 2011, 33 years of loyal service and faithful service to the DOTD, but the members of this Calcasieu Parish Police Jury and staff and the many citizens of this parish will be missing Bobby. Therefore, Kevin Guidry, President of the Calcasieu Parish Police Jury, there on the Friday, February 4th, 2011, will be known as Bobby Hennigan Day in Calcasieu Parish in recognition of the service to Southwest Louisiana and the state during his 33 years. Congratulations and best wishes to Bobby Hennigan on behalf of this jury and the entire parish. With that being said, Bobby, congratulations. Proclamation, and this is also a token from the parish. It's a kind of a desk weight paperweight for your desk, if you have a desk in there. I don't know, you may not have one. With that being said, let's let them take a couple of pictures real quick.
Chris.
Bobby, thank you for your service. I'm going to let you say a few words, and I know some of the jurors may have some comments. Thank you.
I just want to say it's been a privilege to work with folks like you throughout the years. It's always, you've been responsive, you've been helpful, and it's a privilege. And I thank you for this gesture. I really do, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. Bobby, we thank you, and I know there's a couple of jurors that would like to share a few words with you. Mr. Stelly.
Mr. Bobby, I want to tell you that talking about response, I appreciate the way that you responded to me when I called you, and if you were able to do something, you said you would, and if you couldn't, you just said you couldn't, and I appreciated that very much. And congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you. And I still owe you an answer on the one issue that we've talked about, so it's coming.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Mr. Stelly. Ms. Trimmy.
Yeah, I told Mr. McMillan I wasn't going to say anything, but I can't hardly stand it. I had to. You started in '77. I started working for the Louisiana Department of Highways in 1964, and started in Baton Rouge, and then I ended up when Butch and I decided that after all those years we decided we were best friends, and then decided we'd get married. I moved with my grandparents in DeQuincy and worked out here on Clough, at the Clough exit. And I was kind of, I was very young. I was 19, almost 20. And Mr. McCorkadale was our man then, and Mr. Spangler, and I can just name them off. But Ivalois, Stanfield, and bottom line is, when Butch and I got married, they're the ones that hid my car for me for the wedding. And I can remember one thing, that I know that it was the most wonderful job I've ever had. I'm telling you, I absolutely loved it. I think I was a clerk 2 or whatever. I don't know. I made $50 every 2 weeks. So, what? Maybe it's $50 a week. It was $101 every 2 weeks. That's what I make. My check, $101 every 2 weeks. I'm still not making that now. So, but one of the things they asked me to handle the calls, because you had to kind of give people a break every once in a while, to take a 10-minute break. And this was a late call in the afternoon, and these people called and said that there was a cow, I thought, had been hit in the road. And of course we have crews that go out to do that kind of stuff. And but it wasn't. They got out there and it wasn't a cow. I just misunderstood. It was a cat. So, well, I got the welfare the next morning. I got a really welfare. You better listen good. So, so to let you know that I understand from being there and dealing with the public, and also dealing with the wonderful people that work for the Highway Department that do an awesome job, and the men that are on, and the women that are on the sidelines, that are out on the roads, they're priceless. I mean, I would have never thought that I would have been here today at that time, but to be able to work together with the Highway Department under these conditions has been a blessing for me. And thank you for your time of service. And I know you're going to be glad to get back north. So just think about us every once in a while, okay?
I'll do it. Thank you.
Come see us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you for those kind words, Ms. Trimmy. Is there any other jurors that would like to speak? Mr. McMillan.
Bobby, I just want to say thanks again in your very pleasant and humble demeanor when working with us. You always made us feel real important, whether we ask a very intelligent question or maybe it wasn't too intelligent at times, but you always answered us with great dignity and support. One of the things that this jury would probably like to know, and because I was in a meeting the other day, had that opportunity, they've named your replacement, and I think y'all have done something quite well in naming this guy, because he is someone that knows a lot about Calcasieu Parish as well as our area. Would you share that with us?
Yeah, Steve Giles from our office. He's been there a long time as traffic engineer. Will be the new district administrator. And for those of you who don't know him, he's done a lot of the TV interviews and well known around here. Good engineer. He'll be a good administrator. So.
That being said, thank you for your service, and this jury sincerely appreciates everything you've done for us. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. McMillan. And Mr. Hennigan, thank you. We'll move on to item number 8, presentation of plaques to the following persons who were inducted on October 30, 2010 into the 2010 Louisiana ASA Softball Hall of Fame. Mr. Size.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. It's with honor that I'd like to have the opportunity of recognizing 3 families for inductees that were inducted into the 2010. On October of 2010, there were 11 inductees that were inducted into the Louisiana ASA Softball Hall of Fame. 3 of those inductees were citizens of Calcasieu Parish, families of citizens of Calcasieu Parish, and they were our own. And I would like to take this moment to recognize them. And the first one that we're going to do is Mr. Thomas Simon. The first 2, they had a lot to do with the changing of the game. As I remember coming up, there was not a park that could hold them in the park, and so they were the reason why they had to come up with the rules of on a 3rd strike. If you fouled it, you were out, because they just couldn't just let them sit up there and just knock every ball over the park and everything else. And these were outstanding people. The first one being Mr. Thomas Simon, who is deceased, but he's going to be represented by his family. Could you please come up? And it reads, presented by the Calcasieu Parish Police Jury on this 16th day, December 2010, to the family of the late Mr. Thomas Simon, in honor and recognition of being inducted into Louisiana Amateur Softball Association Hall of Fame, October 30th, 2010. Congratulations on his achievements. Claude Size and our President, Kevin Guidry.
I'm just going to be brief. I want to thank the members of the Calcasieu Parish Police Jury for such a prestigious award presented here tonight for my husband, whom I wish could be here to join in such a momentous occasion. Thank you again from my family.
Thank you.
And one thing before Ms. Simon leaves, one thing else we want to recognize is that she was the sister of our late police juror and president, Mr. Alan August, and also the sister-in-law of Liberto August. The next one inductee is Mr. Eric Handy. Mr. Handy was also a very dear friend of mine. I've been knowing for quite some time, and like I say, he, like Mr. Simon, was one of those that whenever they went to the ballpark, he was just kind of like went on the other side of the fence and waited for the ball to come flying across there, because it was going to definitely fly. And this one also says the same thing to Mr. Eric Handy from the police bureau.
His wife.
Let me say one thing.
Mr. Size and his wife.
Oh, yeah. Ms. Handy, would you like to come up?
Let me say a few words.
I used to call him Red, didn't he? Yeah, that's Red. What was his nickname? I want to talk to him this second.
First of all, I'd like to say thanks so much to the police bureaus. This is my second time up here. I know a few people up here. Hey, I see you pointing at me. I would like to say a special thanks to Mr. Size. I'd like to bring up something that happened a few years ago with Mr. Size. You know, I've won a few individual awards. Mr. Size coached my daughter in basketball. Well, they had an undefeated season. For his undefeated season, on the awards night, Mr. Size said, you know, I've got 13 girls on this ball team. And you know, I've got 13 MVPs. My daughter, Tennille, and his daughter, Brandy, was a part of that team. And that really stuck with me. And I'd like to say something else before I get up about my ball days. I started slow pitch softball. I was used to seeing 95, 80, 85, 95 miles a mile pitches coming toward me. Well, when I started slow pitch softball, it was a guy that come by work and he said, Elridge, I heard you were a former ball player. And yes, I was. He said, I'd like for you to come out and try out for my ball team. Well, I drove around, and I said, man, I couldn't believe it. I'm used to seeing stuff coming 85 miles an hour, and I see this coming at me. I said, this is not going to be a challenge. Well, I was sorry there. But I tell you what, I went out one day, my wife said, Elwood, you know you still want to play ball. I'd heard Mom in Canada. She said, you know you still want to play ball, so why don't you go out and try out? So I go out one day, and this guy said, Elwood, go and shag a few fly balls. So I did. I shagged a few fly balls. He said, Elridge, come in and take a few swings. Well, I'm running in to take a few swings, and I hear somebody say, the bad boy is not supposed to bat. That was wrong. After my first 10, 15 bats, well, that was the last time I was called bad boy. And you know what? Look at the bad boy tonight. I'm being honored for being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Thank you all so much.
Eldridge, thank you. Mr. Eldridge, that's a couple of jurors that'd like to speak with you.
Mr. Eldridge. Mr. Eldridge. Mr. Eldridge. Call him back, Kevin.
Mr. Eldridge, there's a couple of jurors that would like to share some words with you. Mr. McMillan.
Thank you. You know, you are a tremendous ball player. I had the honor of playing against you and Simon. And I played second base, and Simon was left-handed. Right. And I'd go to right field because I knew the ball was going to be coming at Mach 1 every time he hit it. What a tremendous team y'all had, and how you represented our parish. Y'all were winners, and y'all were great people. We had great fun in those years of the softball. I think, you know, wasn't there a nickname Red? Seemed like I remember Red in there somewhere. You had.
Yep, we did have a guy named
that
on our
Red
ball.
played with us, and it just y'all had a tremendous team. Right. And to have the opportunity to play with you guys, I was young coming out, and I got educated quickly by some guys that were much more experienced. Thank you for letting me be a part of that.
Thank you so much, Hal. You know, something I forgot to say. I think, Hal, did you know Harley Shuff?
Yep.
Okay. Harley Shuff was interviewed by someone. Harley was all Harley, and he was asked who was the 10 best ball players that he played with and against. My name was in that top number. But the most of all, the thing that he said about me, I was a super ball player, could do it all, but I was a super person, and that meant the world to me, you all.
You would also be in my top 10, and I'm honored to have you here tonight.
And Mr. Handy, just one of the things, I think before you guys were talking about Hal was the only person in the softball league that could be thrown out from left field to first base. Mr. Handy, thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much.
Speedy. He was speedy.
Our last inductee was inducted as a coach and administrator. And this gentleman, I can say that the 30 years that I was involved with coaching sports, youth sports, I had the pleasure of spending 10 of those years coaching with him and also against him. We were always working together. Gary was a fantastic person. He was, you know, he was really a good person to work with the kids. It was a joy for me to work with him and watch him. And he's, as a matter of fact, he's still doing it. Mr. Gary Simeon, please. And also Miss Gary is the husband of our own Miss Stephanie Simeon. So Miss Stephanie, will you please come up also to take this picture with us?
It's a little different being on this side. Normally, I'm sitting up there somewhere in another capacity, but it ain't bad. I want to thank Mr. Sides, first of all, for recognizing us and bringing us to this jury, and I want to thank you guys for honoring us tonight. Usually, being a coach, I try to teach my kids, we don't do anything individually. So it's kind of odd and awkward for me to be receiving an award, because the reason I do this is for the kids, for my girls. One of the young ladies was with the Washington Marion Choir tonight, was on my national championship team this past year. But again, it's a team effort. I couldn't have achieved any of this if I've achieved anything without the support of those kids. Again, I thank you guys. I appreciate it. And don't do this anymore. Thank you, y'all.
Thank you.
Once again, before I sit back down, I just want to actually just thank them very much. And like I said, when I heard about it, I wasn't able to attend, the ceremony, but I told them, I said, you all have got to come back because we want to recognize you all here. So thank you all for coming, and it was a very pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. Size. Moving on to item number 9, take appropriate actions on applications for liquor and beer permits. Mr. Vickers.
Mr. President, we have 3 applications. We recommend they all be approved.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Stelly and a second by Ms. Griffin. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 9 passes. Item number 10, consideration approving
Move
all
on,
payments
10.
of all
Second.
current invoices. I have a motion by Mr. Andrepont and a second by Mr. Landry. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 10 passes. Item number 11, consideration of approving the minutes of the regular meeting of the police jury dated November 18, 2010. I have a motion by Mr. Collins and a second by Mr. Brame. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 11 passes. Item number 12, consideration of approving and adopting the fiscal year 2011 annual budget in accordance with local government budget as follows. That's going to be on both bullets. I have a motion by Mr. McMillan and a second by Dr. Mackey. Let me just read those 2 bullets into the record, please. 12.1, approve the proposed parish budget for fiscal year 2011 in accordance with the public hearing held on Thursday, December 2nd, 2010, and the recommendations of the Budget Committee. Bullet number 12.2, amend the fiscal year 2010 budget for those funds which diverge from estimated budgeted revenues and expenditures in accordance with LSA. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 12 and all bullets pass. Item number 13, consideration of authorizing the disbursement in the amount of $1,000 for the second 2010 installment of the Riverboat Recreation Endowment Funds, qualifying community center districts and playground districts and recreation districts as listed below. I have a motion by Mr. Fordham and a second by Mr. Scott. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 13 passes. Item number 14, take appropriate action to amend ordinance number 5284, which was adopted on May 17, 2007, relative to RZ 02-045-97, 5611 Highway 14 East in Ward 2, which is a request by Aaron Natale to remove stipulations number 2, which stated that the development be listed to monogram shop and hair salon use only. I have a motion by Ms. Griffin and a second by Mr. Hassan. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 14 passes. Item number 15, take appropriate actions on RZ 03-009-10, 2930 Old Highway 171 in Ward 3, which is a request by Michael Babineau to rezone from C1 light commercial to C2 general commercial to allow a mechanic shop. I have a motion by Mr. Collins and a second by Mr. McMillan. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 15 passes. Item number 16, receive report from staff concerning the FEMA flood maps and consideration of adopting an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinance of Calcasieu Parish, Louisiana, as it pertains to flood plains management regulations associated with adoption of maps effective January 1st, 2011. At this time, I call Ms. Mattingly to the podium, please. Thank you, Ms. Pam.
Good afternoon. Pam Mattingly, Floodplain Administrator for Calcasieu Parish. And I'm thrilled to say that I'm glad the local government moves at a much quicker pace than the federal government. Some of you jurors have been working with us on this flood map process since 2003. Of course, we've had a few obstacles since then, like Hurricane Rita and Ike. And of course, FEMA decided to remap the entire Gulf Coast. So we're finally now at the finish line for the flood maps. And the public has been reviewing the flood maps for the last year. And FEMA's made a few minor touches on the maps. And so now, in order for them to be effective for flood insurance purposes, we will need you to adopt the maps. Also, the staff has made some recommendations or some revisions to the flood ordinance, which is basically adding some definitions. So we'd like those to be adopted also. And we hope that the public continues to look at all the flood maps, which are they can view on our website, cppj.net, to see if their flood properties have changed. And because they can also call our office, the planning office, or any city halls to find out if their properties have changed. And we're encouraging them to really do that, because if their property has changed, then they will need to go ahead and purchase flood insurance if they have a mortgage on their home. The parish has sent out over 2,500 letters to residents in the unincorporated area to inform that their property has changed from a low-risk zone to a high-risk zone, so they'll be aware of to contact their insurance agent to consider purchasing flood insurance, so they can save money to be grandfathered in and save them a lot of money on their flood insurance premiums. So with that said, we would encourage that y'all adopt the
Make
ordinance.
that motion.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Mattingly. Is there any other discussion by the jury? We have a motion by Ms. Trimmy and a second by Dr. Mackey. We do have discussion. Mr. Scott.
Yeah, Ms. Pam, in the new flood zones and stuff, you know, there's areas that have never flooded, but they're now in the flood zone, and maybe they're on a boundary and stuff. Are there ways for people to try to take just their area out of the flood zone?
There are. They're called letter of map amendments or letter of map revisions, and we have assisted many people throughout the years on doing that through a FEMA process, and if they just call our office, we'd be glad to help them do that individually for their properties.
So is that a fairly easy process? Do you see a lot of success in that? Like if they have not flooded and they're now in a flood zone, do you see success in this getting?
I would say probably 95% of the requests that we get have been approved. Okay. And for most of the part, if they're already at a high elevation, then there is a no-cost fee. But if they're at a lower elevation, they had to bring in fill, then there is a fee to actually get that revised portion for their property. But we'll be glad to assist them to do that.
But what if there's already structures on the property? Whenever, you know, can you take the property out or the structures out, or how does that work?
Either way, you can request either way.
And so you have a good success rate with that as long as there's some good evidence behind it?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. At this time, I call on Mr. Landry.
Thank you, Mr. President. How long does that take?
To get the process done, generally about 2 months.
Is that in FEMA time, or is that really 2 months?
It's in FEMA time, which is generally about 2 months once we make the request and send all the documentation.
It was really 2 months?
Really.
Okay. Thank you.
They contract it out.
Thank you, Mr. Landry.
Oh, okay. Now I understand.
Mr. Spell.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ms. Mattingly, the recent activity we've had with drainage studies parish-wide, which would possibly affect flood levels because drainage is improving. Has that been incorporated in this process, or is that something that's going to take place at a later date? And I don't know if you want to answer that question or pass that ball off to Mr. Wainwright, but
if you don't mind, I'll take a shot at it. The studies that we've done were designed and done in a manner that they can be used to look for revisions in maps. We have not approached that step yet, in large part simply because a lot of the work that those studies have predicted needed to be done has not been done. But as that work takes place, as we get results, we will be able to use the studies to go to FEMA to request revisions.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Spell. Is there any other comments by the jury? Madeline. We do appreciate it. Thank you so very much. We had a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 16 passes. Item number 17, consideration of adopting a resolution approving the submittal of a grant application in the amount of $49,784 to the Louisiana Office of Community Development, Community Water Enrichment Fund on behalf of Waterwork District Number 1 of Ward 1. I have a motion by Mr. Size and a second by Mr. Stelly. Is there any discussion? Any objection?
Should have been you, huh?
I'll second.
That should have been Mr. Spell.
Oh, I missed him by one, Mr. McMillan. Thank you, Mr. Spell. I appreciate it. We have a second by Mr. Spell. Any other discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 17 passes. Item number 18, consideration of adopting a resolution amending lease agreements on the following pieces of property which was acquired through a flood mitigation grant and must remain open space. Thank you, Dr. Mackey.
Bullets.
And a second by Ms. Miller. Let me just read those into the record. There were 9 bullets. 18.1, 2414 Dennis Lane, Moss Bluff. 18.2, 3716 Back Bay Court, Westlake. 18.3, 1001 Mullane Drive, Sulphur. 18.4, 9516 Similar Blue Road, Lake Charles. 18.5, 207 Ruby Lane, Sulphur. 18.6, 1465 South Perkins Road, Moss Bluff. 18.7, 3875 Hallmark Road, Lake Charles. 18.8, 2411 Williams Street, Westlake. 18.9, 2928 Renee Street, Lake Charles. I had a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Number 18, all bullets passed. Number 19, consideration of adopting a resolution approving the the renewal of a joint service agreement between the police jury and the city of Lake Charles for animal services. I have a motion by Mr. Andrew Point and a second by Ms. Griffin. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 19 passes. Item number 20, consideration of adopting a resolution approving the renewal of a contract for dental services between the police jury and Dr. David Dolphinball in reference to providing his professional dental services to the Calcasieu Correctional Center. I have a motion by Mr. Size and a second by Dr. Mackey. Is there any discussion?
Question.
We do have a question. Ms. Griffin.
Thank you. I guess, Mr. Beam, is this as needed, or is it just a contract, whether or not services are provided?
It's a monthly amount, and so he goes out, I believe, twice a month.
Okay.
So it's a schedule.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Griffin. We had a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 20 passes. Item number 21, consideration of adopting a resolution approving a cooperative endeavor agreement between the police jury and the Arts and Humanity Council of Southwest Louisiana for the purpose of administrating the 2011 Cultural Grants Program in Calcasieu Parish.
Move on 21.
I have a motion by Mr. Size and a second by Mr. Brame. We do have discussion. Mr. Andrew Point.
No discussion.
No discussion? All right, Mr. Andrew Point. Any other discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 21 passes. Item number 22, consideration of adopting a resolution approving the extension of a joint service agreement between the police jury and the Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries Office, Region 5, for services related to the ongoing litter enforcement efforts, with said services being paid for by a grant in the amount of $20,000 from the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality. I have a motion by Ms. Trimmy and a second by Mr. McMillan. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
We do have discussion. Mr. McMillan.
Yes, sir. If I could, Mr. President, we have Lieutenant Ramey Broussard from the Wildlife and Fisheries, and this money is being very well spent. I'd like to get Ramey up to the microphone. They've made some very good cases in Calcasieu Parish, and anytime there's a success story, I'd like for this jury to hear some of the success and some of the litter things that Lieutenant Broussard has been doing.
Please state your name and record. Name and address for the record, please.
Lieutenant Ramey Broussard with Louisiana Wildlife Fisheries Enforcement Division.
Mr. Broussard, y'all been making some cases. Can you tell us how this money's being well spent?
We have, Mr. McMillan. I think Jason probably reported to y'all a couple of months ago on the progress. Since the inception of this program, we have written quite a few gross littering tickets as well as simple littering. I don't know if you're familiar with the difference between the two. Simple littering, just what it states, simple, intentional littering, throwing things on the sidewalk, maybe cigarette butts. maybe Coke cans out windows of vehicles, throwing trash out the windows going down the highways. Quite a few of these things that are written not only on overtime that we've been doing, but also in our normal duties. Some of the gross littering complaints that we have that we investigate take considerably more time. Sometimes you'll find things in that trash that will lead you to one subject where you may have to go 3 or 4 different people, backtrack several months from where they may have resided to make these types of cases. So it does take a considerable amount of time for our agents. We've actually written in the last quarter 27 of these citations. Just recently, last Monday, we put together a concerted effort, several of our agents and some plainclothes agents working this around the courthouse area. Jason had received complaints and noticed it himself, the way the area was being trashed around the courthouse area, the complete annex. And we put some people out there, and we made some people unhappy that day. But I think we're going to get some results from it, and I think you will see those results in a cleaner grounds around the area. As a matter of fact, we had one of the judges in court that had mentioned this in his courtroom, and when they came out on break, we still wrote some of the people that were in that courtroom at the time. So hopefully they will get the message. But we do have some of these funds left, and it's an ongoing process. We've worked several different things, just exactly such as this one from last Monday, and we've had some good results on it. Sometimes better, sometimes worse. But I think all in all, we're definitely seeing some big results in the gross littering around the parish.
Mr. Broussard, like, you know, it's, a lot of people when they think littering think somebody throwing something out of a car, blowing out of a truck, stuff like this. Are y'all also patrolling the waterways for the litter?
Absolutely. And we've done that for years. But there's often times when not only will they throw things out of boats and other vehicles, but they'll stop underneath bridges. It's a real good spot for people to get rid of things. And I think you've probably seen in some of the papers and here lately people throwing animal carcasses out as well. And this is becoming more of a problem as we start moving out into some of our rural areas. These people just don't feel like they have a place to go where they can put things, or they just simply don't want it in their way out with their trash. So they'll drive out somewhere. I'm sure you're very familiar with this. And they'll dump them off of roadsides, off of bridges, into canals, ditches. And then eventually it starts to smell. And it is a health problem as well. There was a KPLC News reel here just recently that came out and spoke with me on just exactly such a thing. And there was actually a child's playground probably 50 yards from where this deer carcass had been dumped. And it's definitely a big health hazard when this starts happening. So we've been cracking down on that also. It's a little harder case to make as far as getting information to actually make an arrest and a conviction, but it can be done.
Thank you, Mr. Broussard. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. McMillan. We do have other comments. Ms. Trimmy.
Yeah, I just wanted to, it's good to see you, Ramey.
Thank you.
It's been a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
And we go back a while. How's Nancy doing?
Doing wonderful.
That's good.
Teaching kindergarten.
You're still teaching kindergarten. Well, that's good. She and my daughter started teaching kindergarten together way a long time ago.
A couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago. And we've been good friends for a long time, but I've been watching you when they moved you from Benton and you had to move to, did you move to Cameron?
Yes, ma'am, I did for a while.
Moved to Cameron. And keeping up with y'all, and I know what kind of work you do. I know what kind of hard work you do, and what a big asset you are for our area. And so Mark McMurray used to call me the litter queen, so I guess I'll take that as a compliment. And we want to keep our parish clean. And thank you for helping us do that. We're doing our part, and thank God you're doing yours. And with all of us with the shoulder to the wheel, we should be able to move this wagon. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Trimmy. Mr. Scott.
Yeah, with the success you're having with litter, you know, teamed with the parish and stuff, does the state recognize that? And are there any grants that they're willing to pass on to y'all to even get you moved further along?
They have actually, there's an organization that slips my mind right now who has provided funding to us in the past on a statewide basis for exactly this same type of thing. But it has definitely made a difference statewide, just not parish-wide. and there are some other organizations out there that have contributed.
So you are, besides the 20,000 from the parish, you're also receiving grant money?
That's correct. And it doesn't all, like I said, it doesn't all come here, but some of it does trickle down into this area.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
President.
Mr. Scott. Is there any other comments by the jury? I'll call on my parish administrator. Mr. Bean.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just sort of add on something Dennis was asking about. Wildlife and Fisheries has been great in this partnership. I also want to give Jason a plug. He has met personally more than once with the Secretary of Wildlife and Fisheries in Baton Rouge, Mr. Barham, discussed litter and what we're doing here. And they, from the state on down, they're very supportive and they know what we're doing in Calcasieu. And I don't know how Jason got in to see him twice that easy, but he did. And I'm glad he had a chance to visit. So they're well aware of that, and I think that will help for future partnership efforts.
Thank you, Mr. Bean. Mr. Jason, would you like to come up and share a few words with us? For those of you that may come down Rhine Street and right across, I think, catty-corner from Dawn's Car Wash, there's a billboard. Jason's pretty much responsible for that, and I think that's a great innovative way that you've done that to where people can understand what it looks like when it's on a big scale. But we just want to say to you tonight that, you know, what a tremendous job you've done, and please continue by all means.
Thank you. I appreciate that, President Guidry. I just wanted to let you know real quick that we're really seeing some positive things happening here. It's taken a little while, and a lot of people would probably look at some of our statistics as being not as great as what they had hoped, but it's a big improvement from what it was 2 years ago. One thing that I really want to make you all aware of is that with the help of with the Wildlife and Fisheries Department, we have really made some leaps and bounds here in this parish, and it's a great asset to have them here. But also with just our judicial system and our process in getting these cases heard to the court, you know, we did some changes to help streamline the process and also make sure that the people are made accountable. And this year alone, approximately 30-plus cases have made it into the 14th JDC, and out of all those 30, only one was thrown out for insufficient evidence. All of the rest, with the help of the Wildlife and Fishery and all of other law enforcement agencies that are working for this, have really done a great job, and they are continuing on the judicial level to have that zero tolerance of enforcement when it comes to littering. So we're really excited about those numbers, and we're looking really optimistic in 2011. We're also going to meet with the Department of Natural Resources in January with Secretary Scott Angel to talk about our program and some ways we can maybe possibly partner with them. So,
thank you, Jason. We had a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 22 passes. Item number 23, consideration of adopting a resolution in opposition to the proposal of Community Transit Service to locate a residential reentry center or halfway house for federal offenders being released to the Lake Charles area in the vicinity of Klein and Emerald Street in Lake Charles. Mr. Beam, just a point of clarification. I have received a few calls on this with some concern to a lot of the constituents in that area. Is that going to be something that we need to be a little bit concerned about for us for that
Honestly,
situation?
I'm not sure with the criteria they base as far as local input, but when you've got the school board with a resolution against it, yourself and any other bodies, that makes a lot of difference. Thank you, City of Lake Charles. I think that goes a long way toward determining whether that's done or not. I just can't answer how much sway that has, but typically that means a lot.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Beam. We do have discussion. Mr. Size.
Yes, Mr. President. This resolution came from myself. I received calls and I talked to in our city council person and also the school board because it happens to be in my district, and there was asking for support from the parish also on this particular resolution, and so that's where this resolution came from myself, you know, being brought forward, you know, in support of what, because we definitely. You know, you know, as far as halfway house, I have no problem. We have no problem with that. But we need to make sure that it was, you know, being located where it was, so close to the school, you know, was not a good message at all.
Exactly. I totally agree.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Size. We had a motion by Mr. Spell and a second by Mr. Size. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 23 passes. Item number 24, consideration of adopting a resolution approving an amendment to the cooperative maintenance agreement between the police jury and the Cameron Parish Police Jury to provide that the maintenance responsibilities
On
of Cox
24.
Road from the intersection of
Second.
Parish Road number 433 Broussard Road east to the intersection of Parish Road number 436 Robinson Road. I have a motion by Mr. Andrepont and a second by Mr. Stelly. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 24 passes. Item number 25, consideration of adopting a resolution approving a contract to provide service home harmless agreement between the police jury
Move on 25.
and Mr. Kenneth Derwin for park keeper services at Lorraine Park. I have a motion by Mr. McMillan and a second by Mr. Stelly. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item, we do have discussion. Okay, all right, Dr. Mackey. Hearing none, item number 25 passes. Item number 26,
Move on
consideration of adopting a
Second.
resolution approving a contract to provide services hold harmless agreement between the police jury and Mr. Theodore and Miss Catherine Myers for park keeper services at Prairie Lake Park. I have a motion by Mr. Brame and a second by Ms. Griffin. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 26 passes. Item number 27.
Move on number 27.
Thank you, Ms. Trimmie. Consideration of a
I was just going to say to enter into an agreement with Yule and Sandra Simon for the park keeper at Alligator Park, Ward 5.
Thank you, Ms. Trimmie. I won't have to read that one. Is there any?
They're getting bored, so you need to move on.
Yes, ma'am. Am I going that?
I'll second that motion.
Am I going that slow, Ms.
Yes.
Trimmie? Oh, God, I'm having a rough night, Ms. Trimmie. Please excuse me. Number 27, is there any discussion on number 27? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 27 passes. All right, 28, consideration of adopting a resolution approving a contract to provide service hold harmless agreement between the police jury and Mr. Scott Ward for parkkeeper services at Calcasieu Point Landing. I have a motion by Dr. Mackey.
Second.
And a second by Mr. Porter. Scott Wade. I'm sorry, Mr. McMillan. Scott Wade. What did I say? Scott Ward. I'm sorry, Scott Wade. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 28 passes. Item number 29, consideration of adopting a resolution
Move on 29,
approving
second.
a contract between the Police Jury of Juvenile Justice Service and the Educational and Treatment Council in the amount of $30,000. I have a motion by Dr. Mackey and a second by Mr. Size. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 29 passes. Item number 30, consideration of following the request for the Office of Community Service as provided by the Advisory Board on Wednesday, November 10, 2010. There were two bullets. Let me read those two bullets shortly into the record, please. 30.1, adopt a resolution authorizing submittal of a grant application to the Federal Transit Administration. 30.2, adopt a resolution authorizing the submittal of a grant application to the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development. I had a motion by Dr. Mackey and a second by Mr. McMillan. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Item number 30, and both bullets pass. Item number 31, consideration of adopting a resolution authorizing the submittal of a grant application in the amount of $305,355.62 to the Louisiana Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. I have a motion by Dr. Mackey and a second by Mr. Spell. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 31 passes. Item number 32, consideration
Move
of
on 32,
authorizing the
all
parish
bullets.
administrator
Second.
to advertise for bids for the following projects: number 2011-1, number 2011-2, number 2011-3, number 2011-4, number 2011-5, number 2011-6, number 2011-7. I had a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Number 32, and all bullets passed. Number 33, consideration of authorizing the parish purchasing agent to advertise for bids for the pre-manufactured homes for use by the Ward 3 Fire Protection District Number 2.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Brame and a second by Mr. Landry. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 33 passes. Item number 34, consideration of authorizing the parish
34.
purchasing agent to advertise for bids for 2011 regular cab pickup trucks for the use by the Mosquito Control Department. I have a motion by Ms. Griffin and a second by Mr. Size. Is there any discussion? Any
Question.
objection? We have discussion?
Question, please.
Please, Ms. Griffin.
Thank you, sir. On number 34, will this be new vehicles, new pickup trucks?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Griffin. Ms. Sandy, do you have discussion?
No. I'm talking to myself now. Move on. Now I got him coughing, we're in trouble.
Slowing him down.
Slowing him down now. You want me to read it?
I love you, Ms. Trimmy. Number 35, consideration of authorizing the parish purchasing agent to advertise for bids for the following Curso bridge lumber, sign blanks, sign face, and sheeting material, pavement markings, metal sign posts, Category 6 FPT cable. I have a motion by Ms. Trimmy and a second by Dr. Mackey. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 35 passes. Item number 36, take appropriate actions on bids received by the parish purchasing agent on December 13, 2010 for building modifications multi-agency resource center at the Office of Juvenile Justice Service. There were 6 bids that were turned in. The agenda note states that the project architect recommends that the low bid in the amount of $198,490 for Priola Construction be accepted. Is that okay with you, Ms. Trimmy?
That's perfectly exciting, actually.
I have a motion by
Very
Mr.
exciting.
Size and a second by Dr. Mackey. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
We do have discussion.
Would
Mr.
it-
Size.
Mr. Trimmer, would it be all right if I get Mr. Boland to come up and kind of talk a little bit about this?
Oh, I love it. I love
Mr. Dane, please state your name and position here with the parish, sir.
Dane Boland. I'm the director of the Office of Juvenile Justice Services. And yes, it's exciting. This is the Multi-Agency Resource Center. It's I know you hear it a lot, the one-stop shop for juvenile services, but this is for families. If crisis happens 7 or 8 o'clock at night, family can walk in at that point, and we will have crisis intervention specialists there. We'll have counselors there, so it's going to be a very big project for the parish. Hopefully in March, we will have the ribbon cutting, and at that time, families can come on in. It's very exciting.
Do we have any other questions by the jury?
No, but thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Ms.
Boland.
Boland.
Thank you, Dane. Thank you, Mr. Size. We had a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 36 passes. Item number 37, take appropriate actions on bids received by the parish purchasing agent on December 14, 2010 for food commodities with unit price effective January 2nd, 2011 until December 31st, 2011. I have a motion by Dr. Mackey and a second by Ms. Trimmer to defer. Agenda note states that, thank you, Dr. Mackey. Agenda notes state that the staff recommends that this item be deferred until regular meeting on January 6, 2010. Thank you, Dr. Mackey. Item number 38. Well, before I go to number 38, let me just take a point of personal privilege by Mr. Spell.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just as a matter of courtesy, I just wanted to inform my colleagues and the general public that I have requested staff place an item on the agenda for our January 6th meeting to consider a minimal extension of some aspects of the IDO, and I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention so everyone would have ample time to get with staff if there are any questions or concerns about the item placed on the agenda. So it's just an issue of courtesy to let everybody have a heads up that I've requested that agenda item. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Spell. And before we go to the next item, let me just say, I just want to thank all of you tonight for just bearing with me. And a lot of our other jurors are a little bit under the weather, but this is what it's all about, and this is what we do. Everybody up here has so much love for one another, and when you can't have a little bit of play in what you do, it's not fun. And I just want to say to everybody that's watching, this is what we do, and this is who we are, and this is why you've elected us to represent you, to do the job in which that we do in a professional manner. And I just want to say to Miss Sandy, I love her on and on and on. She's just a wonderful lady. Miss Trimmy,
Love
put me
you
on
too.
track.
We've enjoyed you being president this year.
Trimmy.
It's been
As much as I have.
and I've been through a lot this year, and I want to thank you for your support and all the police stars for their support. And I thank God we're coming to the end of 2010. I'm looking forward to moving on quickly in 2011.
Well, we're looking
God
forward
bless
to
y'all,
having
and
you
thank
here
you.
with us, too.
Thank you. You've done a great job.
Thank you, Ms. Trimmy. At this time, item number 38 is considered going to executive session. At this
So
time,
moved.
we'll proceed into executive session.
recommend legal counsel's recommendation.
I have a motion by Mr. Andrew Point and a second by Ms. Griffin. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, motion passed. At this time, I would ask for a motion to adjourn. I have a motion by
Second.
Mr. Landry and a second by Ms. Griffin. We're now adjourned.